Hello. If you're seeing this right now, this is more likely my first video ever on this channel. I actually used to have another YouTube channel, but it was really dead over there, and I wasn't getting a lot of views as I did, so I decided to just restart and make a new channel. So this is my new channel. Welcome. So for starters, as my introduction on this channel, my name is Morgan, and I'm an artist based in Canada. I'm also a variety streamer. I usually stream myself drawing every once in a while when I feel like it. I don't really have a set schedule. I just stream whenever I feel like it. And I'm also a comic artist, if you can obviously can't tell by the webtoon in the corner. But if you're interested in like art commentaries or just me rambling about random stuff, then subscribe. It's free and it lets me know that people are actually interested in me just rambling about stupid stuff. So yeah, I also stream on Twitch, so if you're also interested in watching more process videos on me drawing characters, you can also click the link below and my Twitch will be listed in the bottom of the description. Also, I am sorry if I sound very quiet or if I sound very raspy. I'm trying not to wake my family this late at night. It's about 2:30 this late at night in the morning, so I don't want to wake anybody up. So let's get right into it. So what you're watching me right now is creating a prologue outfit for one of the characters in my comic. The comic is named Memory Reboot, and it's not out yet. I'm still working on it, as you can tell, but I'm hoping to aim for release around for like at least the 3 episodes around May to June. So that gives me a time frame when I should be getting everything done and prepared. So if you are interested, my socials will be down in the description below, and yeah, I'll try to post more about it since it's something I've been super fixated on recently. Okay, now let's get into the actual tea of this whole entire comic that I am going to be recording and basically showing my journey on making this whole entire comic. So the idea for the webcomic actually started off as a D&D campaign, and I'm going to be honest, I have not touched the D&D campaign. I am literally the DM, and I have not touched a single ounce of that. Because, again, I am the primary artist and writer working on the comic. I made the base of this comic, and I'm trying to put as much time into this before convention season starts, because I'm also a convention artist. So I go to like these conventions, I sell merch, I make fan art, and I know when convention season rolls around, I'm not going to be having as much time as I should be dedicating to this whole entire webcomic. So I'm trying to get as much done as I possibly can. But anyways, the idea was actually brought up by a friend to possibly turn this whole entire D&D campaign, non-existent by the way, into a comic. And you know, me being me, I love comics, I was on board with it. But you know, if you give me an idea and I really like that idea, there isn't gonna be a day where I'm not working on it. Do I feel as if I'm spending way too much time on a project that will more likely not be seen and fall into the obscurity of the internet? Maybe. Do I regret it? No. So the original characters that were actually supposed to be part of the campaign were supposed to be in this comic aren't in this comic. And there's actually a reason why, because knowing the way that webtoon worked, I didn't want these characters to have full rights to webtoon if for whatever reason I decide to sell my soul away to webtoon to make into an original, which I doubt, honestly. I'm not looking into it, but like in the case that I'm desperate enough. So I found a loophole and I decided to replace their characters with similar aspects and stories to their actual characters that I based them off of. And I also had to design these characters to fit the webtoon gaze, so there's also that too. And when I tell you webtoon gaze, I literally mean webtoon gaze, because the character that I literally based the guy off of, the one that you are seeing right now, you're going to be like, what the fuck is that? Like, what is that? Because I assure you, the character that I'm drawing right now looks nothing like his original counterpart. Like, I kid you not, if this guy saw his D&D counterpart, he'd scream, and then he'd take a pause for a moment to recollect himself after what he's just seen, locate the nearest tallest building in his area, and then he'd go to that building and then throw himself off of that building. The entire reason that I created these characters in the first place was because my friends decided to homebrew their characters, and they decided to use their own Twitch mascots. Some of them actually use their own characters, but some of them use their Twitch mascots as their characters. And knowing the way that Webtoon was, I decided to leave out the characters so a lingering copyright wouldn't be waiting on the horizon for them. Maybe if anybody's interested, I could make a video on the original characters that these guys were based off of. But I'll probably do that eventually when I start the D&D campaign. Anyway, let's lore dump about this character that you are seeing me draw right now. So this character right here, his name's Lysander Alida, his last name meaning starlight to be seen for the last time. And he is our antagonist for the story. And I guess the character that I could compare his personality to, that I could think of right now, is Sentinel Prime from Transformers. Yes, I know it's super surprising, especially what this character looks like compared to Sentinel Prime, but it's one that I could think of right now. His old self would be described as kind and caring, often performing at local festivals within his province. And a lot would consider him to be more of a local indie artist in his community before he became this whole new character of where he's now mainstream and almost everyone on the planet knows of his name. Lysander was once and still is a person that many looked up to, but now just not for the right reasons. He was once part of this huge movement against his city to stall the installations of the latest advancements in his city called Nythera, and Lysander and a few other friends would eventually become the whistleblowers for the city as they begin to notice a shift in power. The council would be in awe of what was introduced to them by these visitors, that they began to implement it into daily life into their city. People began getting addicted to it, and it was slowly being seen as the norm. Almost everyone, except this community, the Starchester district, was pushing back on these because they've been historically been through so much and have been excluded from the people from the south, the Alada district, that they haven't been adapting to these installations because they see through it, thus introducing the resistance. And these first whistleblowers would be Lysander and his friends. They would shortly come to find out about something within the council that would be of great danger in their community, so they took it upon themselves and planned a coup. However, the coup didn't go as planned, and let's just say Lysander was the one to be accused of. One thing led to another, and Lysander was the one to cause his group to fall apart. Months later, eventually a council member would pick up on Lysander's name, and his name was Cerulean, a past figure that Lysander looked up to when he was a child. But this man had obvious ill intentions, and already being Lysander's idol would lead to Lysander having rose-tinted glasses, and him being starstruck that Cerulean would notice him, as this would start a mentorship dynamic between the two of them. Cerulean would try to recruit him into the council, and Lysander, knowing his situation, would sign himself to the council because Cerulean would be aware of his struggles, using it to his leverage and saying to Lysander that his charisma would be welcomed and put into use in making Nythera a better place. Lysander's name also isn't actually his real name. Cerulean gave him his new name so Lysander could erase his old identity now that he's part of the council. A tradition passed within the modern days of the council. This would lead people to believe Lysander's old self had died after the great tragedy known as the coup. So the outfit that you're seeing right now is the outfit that you're seeing Lysander wear before he leaned into the opposing side of the story. And previous to the events of Memory Reboot, Lysander is like this electric, energetic type character. He was more of like an indie artist than a mainstream idol and figure that he is now. He was once well known within his community, often showing up at small festivals in the province. And yes, I am calling it a province. I am Canadian, hello. Like, I don't know what else to call it than a province, because like I know in the States they call it a states, but here we call it provinces, so I'm calling it a province because it just sounds right. So I'm pretty sure earlier in the video you saw Lysander with another character as I try to compare scarf sizes to see how long I should be making the scarf on his outfit. And that is another character. Her name is Lemmy, and he's really good friends with this character. And no, this is not the character that Lysander briefly gets into an argument with and it causes his whole villain arc. I'm kind of having second thoughts whether I should change the color of the scarf because I felt like it was a bit too pink and it did a really good job at burning my eyes, so I changed that eventually in the post. When I was designing Lysander's prologue outfit, I wanted to try and base his outfit off of boy bands and specifically ones from the late and early 2000s. I also wanted to capture that Y2K style in his outfit, shown with his pants. And as you can tell, what I recorded previously isn't the final, because I completely ripped off his sleeves and tucked his scarf into his pocket and also changed the color of it, because when I was designing his first outfit, I just thought the placement of him having a scarf around his neck just felt too weird to me, so I just literally stuffed it into his pocket. I used Pinterest to look for ideas and references, and God, I was swarmed with a shitload of AI the deeper that I just started looking, and Christ, Sam Does Art was so real for making that video. And I've been browsing songs that I think would greatly align with Lysander, and I think a really good one out there that just recently just came out like a few months back was Emptiness Machine by Linkin Park. If I literally had to choose a theme song for this entire comic, Emptiness Machine would be it. So if this comic eventually comes out and you ever decide to read Memory Reboot, think of Emptiness Machine as the opening theme song, please. And so eventually you'll see that I had to redesign 5 out of the 9 characters that I made for the webcomic, because at the time, as I asked my friends who their favorite characters were, out of all of the characters that I made, they chose Mizuki, the Oni guy, and Slade the Mech Dragon, which you will see in a future video, and Lysander. There was also one vote for Thane, the fish guy with fin ears, but it was a biased vote, plus I already knew it wasn't his final design because I wasn't done finalizing it, so I still had to redesign him, but I'm really happy how he also turned out. I'll show the redesigns eventually when I get the hang of making more videos to reveal more of like the story as I go. So I think this is the final design. If whatever you saw looks slightly different than what I was originally working on, then I ended up changing my mind mid-process and will probably continue to do so. So anyway, please subscribe if you want to follow me on this journey from making Memory Reboot from scratch, and I hope you enjoyed watching my design process for Lysander. Also, you know what? I have to put this here because I do have a Patreon, but thank you so much to my singular Patreon, Sammy. Sammy is also a very good friend of mine, so her being my very first Patreon means a lot to me. So thank you again. Besides giving shoutouts, I do offer work in progress and behind the scenes to my comic. So if you're interested in that, my Patreon is listed in the description below. And that was pretty much everything. Bye bye.